Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to a special Monday Night in America. We're reviewing 2025, and thank you for joining me. I have a lot going, and I'm going to ask you to bear with me because there are some issues that I had in my PowerPoint. Apparently, I didn't save it all, so I have everything through September, and then we're going to have to wing it the rest of the way. But I thank you for joining me, and of course, Facebook is giving me problems, and sure enough, there it is. I got to see if I'm live on Facebook right now because this is absolutely ridiculous. It says it's been deleted, but how can it be deleted if I never deleted it? So it's being absolutely dumb right now. And I need to head on over there to Andy B Media to make sure that we're live. It's a bit frustrating, but you know what? It is what it is, and I apologize. So it looks like I'm live, but it's telling me right here on screen that it's been deleted. I don't get it. So anyway, I thank you for that momentary issue, and I'm going to get back to the program now. But once again, thank you for joining me, and see if we can make this happen right now. I don't like that profile view, so I'm going to see if I can be in the middle screen. But thank you for joining me. This is the last program of Monday Night America in 2025, so I suppose we're going to get to it. See if I can get it going. The year in review. It is that time again. So let's see if I can move it. Is it down here or right here? Oh yeah, that might work. We'll see. So let's just get going, I suppose. The month of it's probably not going to work because I'm right there. Let me see. Can I move it? Well, yeah, I'm out. January. No, I don't like it that way. Okay, it's January. Big deal. Okay. So, of course, as you remember, the wildfires erupted in LA. Pacific Palisades and Eaton Canyon suffered the most damage in Southern California. 30 people died and estimated damages of 76 to 131 billion. Of course, later in January, Donald J. Trump was inaugurated on January 20th. He is the second president ever in the history of the Union to serve 2 consecutive terms as president, and the oldest at the time elected at 78. Also in the month of January, Thailand legalized same-sex marriage, becoming the first Southeast Asian country to legalize same-sex marriage. Of course, later in the month, there was a stampede in India during the Hindu festival Kumbh Mela. Also, 30 people died there. And in China, a animated film, Ne Zha 2, was released, becoming the highest grossing movie of the year. That was just January, folks. Now, of course, that's February. Let me see if I do it no, I don't like it that way. Maybe, but then I'm all over the place right there. So we'll see. There's February. Beyonce, early in the month, wins 3 Grammys, and she becomes the first Black woman to win a Grammy for Best Country Album, and now extends her record total to 35. Of course, early in February, the United States begins tariffs by announcing a 10% tariff on Chinese goods. It eventually launches a trade war, which continues on to today, and began with China, and almost every country was hit. If I take a look at it, I think I have an image that might come into play. Do I have access to this image? I do. I can take a look at that image right now. And this is just for the tariffs. Oh, there we go. Global distribution. You can see the colors. This is from whitehouse.gov as of November 1st, 2025. So these are the states that are at 10% tariffs. You can see them. They're highlighted. These are the states that are at 15%. Of course, Greenland is not a country, but it is a territory of the Netherlands. 18%. Nicaragua. Wow. It's the only country that got hit with 18%. 19%. It doesn't look. Oh, 19%. Pakistan, Indonesia, Cambodia, and Malaysia, I believe. 20%. Vietnam, Pakistan. Oh, no, no, no. That's not Pakistan. This country is Bangladesh. Yeah, 20%. And Sri Lanka, also 20%. 25%. Who hit 25%? I can't see. I don't think anyone was at 25%. 30%. These are all the countries. Algeria, Libya, South Africa, 35%. Let's turn those off. Canada, Iraq, and Serbia. Wow. 40%. Myanmar and Laos. That's crazy. 41%. Syria. 50%. Brazil. India. Wow. That's absolutely amazing. That was that one. Also, at the end or at the beginning of the month, I believe it was somewhere around February 14th. I don't recall if that's the actual date, but I believe it was February 9th. The Eagles defeat Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Philadelphia Eagles defeat Kansas City Chiefs 40-22 to win their second Super Bowl. There, we're now going into March. Firefly Blue Ghost. Aerospace's Blue Ghost lands on the moon, becoming the first commercial lunar lander to accomplish this feat. In Nature, the first time confirmed on film, the colossal squid, and I apologize for the animals, was captured on film at a depth of 1,968 feet or 600 meters. Kilmer Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran immigrant who was here illegally, was deported by the U.S. government, and this hereby sparks a legal battle where he's eventually brought back to the U.S. Also in the month of March, there was a 7.7 magnitude earthquake that struck Burma. Over 3,600 people die. April. Pope Francis dies. The pontiff dies on April, by my day, I believe April 21st. And he dies at age 88. May. Hey, look, I changed colors. Germany has a new chancellor on May 6th, Friedrich Merz. India launches attacks against Pakistan, missile strikes killing 26 people. And also in May, I forget when that one happened in May, Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost is elected Pope and takes the name of Leo XIV. I believe that happened on May 8th. And later in the month, on May 9th, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approves the first in-home cervical cancer test. Wow. Hey, we're moving fast. In June, Air India 171 crashes, 242 passengers and crew die. There was one survivor. Later in the month of June, on June 14th, the No Kings worldwide protest against President Donald J. Trump took place. On June 17th, the NHL Panthers win their second consecutive Stanley Cup after beating the Edmonton Oilers in 6 games, 4-2. On June 22nd, Operation Barbarossa. Sorry, that's a historical. Like the bunker buster bombs are used where the U.S. strikes Iran nuclear sites, and of course, it was declared completely destroyed, but experts debate the extent of damage. Also, a little bit later on June 22nd as well, the Oklahoma City Thunder defeat the Indiana Pacers in Game 7 to win its first championship since relocating from Seattle. Wow. As you remember, they were the Seattle Supersonics. You may not remember, but that's all right. July. The July 4th through, actually, it was quite a bit. I think it started July 4th, but it went through the 7th. Extreme rainfall brings deadly floods in central Texas. especially in the Guadalupe River and its surrounding tributaries. At least 135 people are killed, including 27 campers and staff from Camp Mystic, a girls' summer camp. And estimates of the cost of the disaster range from 18 to 22 billion dollars. That's crazy. That month, the Coldplay Kiss Cam took place. That was on July 16th. And as you know, Chris Martin, the band's lead singer, said from the stage, either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. I'm not quite sure what to do. The couple, who were co-workers and executives at a tech company, later resigned from their jobs. I believe the executive did sue Chris Martin, but I believe it was thrown out of court. I'm not 100% on that, but yeah, that was absolutely crazy. Also, when did this one happen? Actually, this was on July 1st, so I'm a little out of order. Comet 3I Atlas discovered, and it's possibly the oldest known comet. And later in the month, on July 2nd, the day after, so I really messed up on these, and I apologize. The 14th Dalai Lama, the exiled spiritual leader of Tibet, announces that he will reincarnate, thus confirming that there will be a 15th Dalai Lama. He also grants his own institutional trust sole authority for identifying his successor. The move comes at a time when there's a possibility of Chinese oversight of the next Dalai Lama succession. So, and I believe you know how it's chosen that children are brought before the council. And again, this is just what I know of the council, and they show the child items that the prior Dalai Lama had, and based on how the reaction takes place, they determine whether it actually is a reincarnation or not at a young age. August. We know what happened on August 11th. United States President Donald Trump orders the deployment of the National Guard to Washington, D.C., claiming that the move would rescue the nation's capital from crime. The move, of course, is controversial, and D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, who notes that crime is down compared to previous years, opposes the deployment. And, of course, on August 26th, pop sensation Taylor Swift and NFL star Travis Kelce announced their engagement on Instagram. The couple posts photos of the proposal with the note, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married." Yeah. Ooh, look, another color. September. On September 2nd, the U.S. military carries out the first of a series of lethal strikes on small civilian boats operating in or near Venezuelan waters. The U.S. government justifies the attacks by saying that the targeted vessels are being used for drug smuggling and terrorism. On September 10th, conservative activist Charlie Kirk is fatally shot while speaking at an outdoor event on the campus of Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. The assassination comes amid other acts of political violence in the United States. And this wasn't the first of the year in September. And you might say it was accelerated by the attempted assassination of candidate Donald J. Trump in late 2024. Now, I am nowhere near qualified nor interested in going down the rabbit hole of whether, because this is actually happening now in the month of December, that the assassination attempt on then candidate DJT was faked. I don't understand how some people can say because this was witnessed live, but there are people that are saying that September 11th was faked as well, and yet we all saw it live. So I have nor the desire nor the interest to even go down that road. We have what we have. But the assassination of Charlie Kirk was yet another political assassination that is going on in the United States right now. On September 22nd, Ousmane Dembele becomes, or is, I should say, uh, he is of France, receives his first Ballon d'Or as football soccer's best male player. For women, Spain's Atania Bonmati wins for the third consecutive year. On September 23rd, after a brief suspension, the late night talk show Jimmy Kimmel Live returns to the air. 6 days earlier, ABC had announced that it was indefinitely taking the show off the airwaves following comments that host Jimmy Kimmel made regarding the suspect in the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Folks, as a matter of fact, I saw those comments, and only idiots, and yes, this is a political opinion, you just wanted to be angry. You didn't even bother to watch. You only focused on one word, and you got a guy pulled, suspended. Well, people came back to their senses, and he returned after 6 days. It was absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. But hey, it is what it is. I'm going to return to 2025 because I was not able to save the October notes, but I'm going to go over them right now. In October, musician and entrepreneur Sean Combs is sentenced to 50 months in prison. Early in the year, he had been convicted on 2 charges of transportation to engage in prostitution for drug-fueled sex parties known as freak-offs. Wow. As you know, on October 19th, a team of thieves break into the Louvre and steal 9 pieces of 19th century jewelry. The heist, which involves a truck-mounted electric ladder, power tools, and motorbikes, takes less than 10 minutes. Within weeks, French authorities apprehend and charge numerous suspects, but do not recover the historic jewels. On October 20th, as part of U.S. President Donald Trump's ongoing renovations of the White House, demolition begins on the East Wing, which is to be replaced with a 90,000 square foot or 8,360 square meter ballroom. Early in the year, the grass area of the Rose Gardens was paved over. On October 21st, Sanae Takaichi becomes Japan's first female, I put 2 words together, first female prime minister. A hardline conservative, she's head of the Liberal Democratic Party, but first time ever in Japan. Congratulations to her. On October 23rd, an NBA betting and gambling scandal makes headlines following the indictment of Chauncey Billups, head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, and Terry Rozier, a guard for the Miami Heat. Billups is alleged to have participated in illegal poker games that were facilitated by mafia crime families, and Rozier is accused of being involved in illegal sports betting. In November, on November 1st, a game that I witnessed, and I'm glad that I was able to see it. I saw it with my daughter and a classmate and his wife at Applebee's, no less, in Montclair. The Los Angeles Dodgers, led by superstar Shohei Ohtani, beat the Toronto Blue Jays in a thrilling 7-game series to win the World Series and repeat as MLB champions. And folks, that was one of the best ways to say it. Wasn't the greatest of all time, wasn't historical. It was a thrilling 7-game World Series. It was baseball at its best. And you had Japanese stars, dare I say, on both sides, showing up and doing incredible things. The Dodgers were down, I think, 1-0, and then 3-2, and they came back to win the series in heroic fashion. Congratulations, Dodgers. Congratulations to the Dodger fan base for sticking with their team. And I genuinely regret, not buying tickets for game 3, which was the 18-inning game. Oh, I was debating, but it was well over $4,000 for 4 tickets. Ouch. I still feel it. but at least that would have been a win because we went to game 3 of the divisional series against the Phillies, and the Dodgers got their clocks cleaned on that. But we had a great time. Anyway, on November 1st, also on that same day, earlier, because remember, Egypt is a different part of the world, the Grand Egyptian Museum has its official opening ceremony. It is the largest archaeological museum in the world and is especially known for its extensive collection of items discovered in the tomb of King Tutankhamun. On November 2nd, India wins its first Women's Cricket World Cup. On November 10th, a powerful car blast near Red Fort in Old Delhi, India, kills more than 10 people, injures 20 others, and causes severe damage to surrounding infrastructure. I remember that one. On November 12th, the day after the holiday, the last penny is minted in the United States. First produced in 1793, 2025, 1793, 232 years. The coins became more expensive to make than their actual worth, and that has been for some time now. There are some 250 billion pennies currently in circulation. Wow. Also, on November 12th, the longest government shutdown in U.S. history ends after 43 days. The deal to reopen and fund the government includes several provisions, including a Senate vote on health care tax credits and the Affordable Care Act, full back pay for furloughed workers, and the funding of some government entities, such as Department of Veteran Affairs, through September of 2026. But I have news for you. That is some funding. There is possibly going to be another shutdown on January 30th, but that will be in 2026. On November 20th, U.S. President Donald Trump signs legislation ordering the release of the so-called Epstein files, thousands of pages of documents related to 2 criminal investigations into sex trafficking by financier and friend to the rich, famous, and powerful Jeffrey Epstein. Questions concerning the contents of the files have dominated U.S. politics and roiled the second Trump administration. On November 26th, Tesla shareholders approve a $1 trillion compensation package, one of the largest in corporate history for CEO Elon Musk. Under the plan, Musk could receive stock awards worth up to the amount over the next decade if he meets a series of ambitious financial and operational targets. I understand that that decision was taken to court, and I believe it was overturned. I believe shareholder activists sued to get that compensation package overturned. And I believe there was a stay, but they lost. So it is now in effect. Of course, on December 6th, Inter Miami CF, led by star Lionel Messi, wins the club's first Major League Soccer Cup. On December 10th, a social media ban for those younger than 16 goes into effect in Australia. The law focuses on 10 sites known as YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. On a very sad day in Australia on December 14th, a father and son opened fire on a Hanukkah celebration at Bondi Beach in Sydney, killing 15 people and injuring more than 40. The gunmen, one of whom was fatally shot by police, were said to be motivated by Islamic State ideology. The Bondi Beach shooting is the deadliest terrorist incident in the country's history. I have video on my personal page of one of a hero of 2026. I have 2 videos, and allow me to go to them right now. A hero, what he did. This was an older man of relatively similar faith, and he stopped the shooting. He stopped one of them, and I'm going to go to it right now. Forgive me, I have to remove. I'm going to go to it right now. This is one thing that I want to keep forever.
Oh! Oh!
Absolutely incredible. And of course, he was wounded by the other shooter, but he disarmed him. Basically came out of nowhere. Look at it again. He stormed him.
Oh!
This video is from NBC News
Oh!
and heroism at its best. There are few people which I would be considered privileged to meet, and that would definitely be one of them. I have to tell you, I would do anything to humbly have the opportunity to spend 5 minutes with that individual. And I have another video of him as well when he is speaking, and I'm going to go to that video right now. It is broken English, but it doesn't matter. The words ring true. And I believe I can. Oh, I have to remove this one. Sorry.
God sent me to save people. We are a human being. Whatever religion, we are a brother, a human being. We have to stand each other and save life. We deserve to be alive. Beautiful. And everyone have a right to do what they entitled to do. God sent me.
Absolutely incredible. I would be privileged to be able to speak to that individual. But he is recovering, and I'm glad so many people donated for his medical bills, significant amounts of money, because I think he was shot 3 to 4 times, and he knew what was going on. He knew what was happening, and he stepped in, risked his life. On December 16th, the 250th anniversary of Jane Austen's birth is celebrated. The English novelist wrote such beloved novels as Sense and Sensibility in 1811, Pride and Prejudice in 1813, and Emma in 1815. Many of her works were adapted for TV and film. So those are just a few items. I have additional notes on people who passed away. Let me go back to some of them right now. As I mentioned, on April 21st, Pope Francis passed away at age 88. Ozzy Osbourne passed away on July 22nd. Giorgio Armani on September 4th. Robert Redford. Sneakers. I love that movie, Sneakers. I know there's others that he is much more famous for, but Sneakers is a wonderful tone. On September 16th. Jane Goodall on October 1st. Diane Keaton, October 11th. Rob Reiner on December 14th, ever so recently. In January, Peter Yarrow, American singer, passed away. David Lynch passed away. I'm looking through my list. On February 9, Tom Robbins, American novelist, noted for his eccentric characters, playful optimism, self-conscious wordplay. His notable novels include Still Life with Woodpecker and Jitterbug. Passed away. Gene Hackman, 95 years old, passed away on February 18th. Roberta Flack, American R&B singer known for the #1 hits First Time I Ever Saw Your Face and Killing Me Softly with his song. Boris Spassky, 88 years old, passed away on February 27th. Russian chess master who ruled chess from 1969 to 1972. On March 21st, George Foreman, American boxer who twice was world heavyweight champion from 73 to 74 and 94 to 95. He was also known for the eponymous home grill that was hugely popular, the George Foreman Grill. Val Kilmer passed away on April 1st. Yuri Grigorovich, 98 years old, Russian dancer and choreographer who served as the artistic director of the Bolshoi Ballet from 1964 to 1995. On May 28th, George E. Smith, American physicist who was awarded with physicist Willard Boyle and Nobel Prize for Physics in 2009 for their invention of the charge-coupled device. Also on May 28th, Loretta Swit, 87, American actress who is best known for playing Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan on the popular TV series MASH that went from 1972 to 83. And there are others, folks. And Jimmy Swaggart on July 1st, American televangelist and gospel music performer who was defrauded. I have sinned. Sorry. You guys remember that. Tears flying. Jimmy Swaggart. I have sinned. Was defrocked by the Assemblies of God in 1988 after a sex scandal involving prostitutes. Oh, wow. Connie Francis on July 16th, American singer and actress whose recordings in the 1950s and 60s encompassed country, rock and roll, and the traditional vocal pop. In 1960, she became the first woman to top the Billboard singles chart. This man went way too early. Felix Baumgartner, 56 years old. I was home when that happened, and I asked my daughters to watch as he jumped out from 128,100 feet in 2012, becoming the first person to break the sound barrier with his own power. Saw that live. On July 20th, Malcolm Jamal Warner, American actor, director, and musician who was best known for his work on The Cosby Show, passed away. Ozzy Osbourne, as I mentioned. Hulk Hogan on July 24th. I remember this one, July 28th. Ryan Sandberg, 65 years old, American baseball player who was the second baseman for the Chicago Cubs from 1982 to 1997. Known for his fielding and hitting, was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2005. And on August 7th, Jim Lovell, 97, U.S. astronaut of the Gemini and Apollo space programs, and was the commander of the nearly disastrous Apollo 13 flight to the moon in 1970. As a matter of fact, I wear the cap, which their motto was from the moon science, but their unofficial motto became failure is not an option. I tell you, it is a great moment in the movie when they gather all the engineers, the best that NASA has, and they throw the box down and they say, this is what they have. This is what you will use to find a solution. And they did. They did that to keep them alive. It was incredible. Absolutely incredible. I'm going through my list, and many of these I've actually mentioned. Ooh, October 16th, Ace Frehley, 74 years of age, American musician who was the original guitarist for Kiss, which was one of the most influential and best-selling rock groups from the 1970s to the early 2000s, known in particular for his theatrical live performance and extravagant outfits and makeups. Yeah. Former Vice President Dick Cheney, American politician who was the 46th vice president from 2001 to 2009 in the Republican administration of President George W. Bush. and Secretary of Defense from 89 to 93 in the administration of President George Herbert Walker Bush. As Vice President, Cheney wielded immense power and was incredibly polarizing. It is what it is. Frank Gehry on December 5th, Canadian-American architect and designer whose original sculptural, often audacious work won him worldwide renown. His notable buildings include the Guggenheim Museum Bilbao in 1997 in Spain, which was proposed after the Walt Disney Concert Hall, which opened in 2003. The Walt Disney Concert Hall should have opened first, but due to political haggling, actual difficulty in construction, it took forever to open. The Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao opened before work had begun, designed everything at the Walt Disney Concert Hall, but it happened a lot later. So recently, yesterday, Brigitte Bardot, French film actress and singer who became an international sex symbol in the 50s and 60s, she later stepped away from stardom and gained recognition as a champion of animal rights. And I'm going to take a personal note now. This year, my uncle, my godfather, Porfirio Pelayo, passed away earlier this year. As you know, for those of you that know me, in August of this year, my mother also passed away. And I just learned today that my uncle, Rudy Santana, the man who set me on my path to become a financial planner, also passed away. Lost a lot of people this year. Not more so than any others, but I do want to memorialize them today. And I am privileged that I knew them all, that they were in my life. And I think at this point, because the emotion, you know how I am, the emotion will overcome me. And I'm going to pretty much end this program now. I thank everyone that joined me and everyone that will be watching this later in review. As you know, we hadn't done these in a little bit, but we'd always done them, the review of the year. And I'm back to regular programming here on NDB Media's Monday Night America. But as I end this, I have to say that I'm a better person because I knew those, well, obviously my mother, she made me. I am who I am because of all of them. And I will miss them deeply. And if any of you have lost someone in your life this year, I mourn with you. But I had them for many years of my life, so I was fortunate. And I will take that with me to the end of my days. 2025 was a very difficult year for many, many people. I'm just but one of them in the chorus. But I am strengthened because I had them in my life, and I always will remember them. And they will allow me to move on and still be a better person. I'm still working on that. And I hope to improve as my life goes on. But that is enough of me. And that is enough of Monday Night America. That's enough of Roger Noriega in 2025. I do not expect to return on air until sometime in January, on or about the 12th to the 13th. Head on over to ndbmedia.net down at the bottom, and you can follow all the stuff that's going on in the network. So I'm going to go and spend time with my daughter, my youngest. We're going to go to Barnes & Noble today, and we're going to read at the bookstore and just have time to ourselves. I'm eternally grateful to all of you, everyone that visits with us, everyone in the NDB Media universe. We are eternally thankful for you. Thank you, Peter, for watching, and God bless you as well. Folks, this world is ours if we treat each other well. Good things happen. For everyone else, peace and long life. I wish you the best. Enjoy your time with your families as we transition to a new year. And God willing, I will see you guys in about 2 weeks. For now, this is NDB Media, Monday Night America. We'll see you guys on the other side. We have to work on it. I'll see you guys later. Peace always.